Earlier this week, the Oscars released their nomination list for the Best Animated Feature films from this past year. A Silent Voice was a part of the 26 film shortlists that were up for nomination. Unfortunately, the Oscar Selection Committee did not select A Silent Voice from that shortlist to become an official nomination. This is a travesty and shows how much of a joke the Oscar Selection Board is for the animation category in particular. I'm not a huge movie consumer, so I can't speak for the rest of the categories, but the fact that A Silent Voice didn't get nominated for Best Animated Feature is a joke. Instead, they decided to go with another masterpiece that was critically acclaimed for its animation. Yep, you guessed it, The Boss Baby. Jokes aside, it's an absolute disgrace that a movie like The Boss Baby received a nomination over A Silent Voice. A Silent Voice did one thing in particular that makes me wholeheartedly believe it deserves a nomination for Best Animated Feature. First of all, I would like to mention just how great the overall art and style of the movie was. Kyoto Animation did an excellent job with the overall visuals of the movie. The art was beautiful to look at throughout the movie, and really enhanced the already touching story the movie was telling. Scenes such as the one right after the fireworks scene were so beautifully animated and were able to capture the tone perfectly. Kyoto Animation did the scene so well that it's hard for me to think that live action would have been able to make that scene as impactful as it was. The background art in general was also great. The backgrounds in the scenes never felt as if they were lazily done. Animated shows and movies that do a poor job on background art can really cause the audience to have a harder time get fully invested into the movie or show. But the main point I really wanted to make is what really made the movie shine for me, and that is how well a silent voice is able to express characters' emotions using their body language. In particular, one of the main characters, Shoko, is deaf and is unable to speak well, so she has to communicate via sign language. So in order for the movie to express her emotions to the audience, they have to do it via her body language, which is done by animation. And boy does Kyoto hit a home run doing that. One example is whenever Shoko talks to someone she's uncomfortable with or doesn't know very well. She avoids eye contact with them as much as possible, and her eyes keep shifting back and forth while looking downwards. She also tightens and closes up her body, which shows how shy and uncomfortable she is, and that is something people really do. Another example is after she tried to confess to Shoya, but ended up failing to do so because Shoya misinterpreted what she was trying to say when she was trying to speak. She jumps onto her bed face first and is angry and flustered because Shoya didn't understand her. She moves her legs in the air back and forth, and when her sister asks her how her day went and about what was bothering her, she begins to move her legs faster, showing how flustered and upset she was. This leg movement added so much more depth and detail to Shyoko's motions, and is something I really appreciated. Seeing this high level of nonverbal communication with her character elevated the viewer's connections and feelings with her, and made her and the movie feel more real. Another example of how Kyoto Animation uses their animation brilliantly is how they express Shoya's depression. Growing up, Shoya was the bully, and his bullying is what caused Shoko to switch elementary schools. He was very energetic as a child and was the focal point of attention at the school. As time went on, though, the other kids in the school started to turn on him and he began to get bullied himself. In high school, where about three-fourths of the story takes place, his body language is way different than it was when he was a kid. He doesn't smile, his eyes aren't as wide open as they were when he was a kid, and his arm movements are small and closer to his body compared to when he was a kid. Also, they do a brilliant thing with covering the faces of people around him with X's. As a person who has similar experiences in high school, this animation choice is a great way of expressing his isolation and discomfort with interacting with people around him. Overall, not only did A Silent Voice have beautiful art and animation throughout the movie, Kyoto Animation was able to use the animation to give the audience a further sense of detail and depth to their characters. From using shy and timid body language for a deaf girl struggling to live a normal school life, to isolated and lonely body language for a guy struggling through depression, they were able to make their characters feel real, and that helped me get even more emotionally attached to the movie. It's a shame in an outright crime something like The Boss Baby was able to get a nomination for Best Animated Feature over A Silent Voice, and it looks like change in mindset won't come for the foreseeable future regarding foreign films in Hollywood.